This is Admirable. We're here for Fully Charged Europe. I think it's episode 22. And we've got myself, CommanderX, Kaidus, and John, the usual suspects. John, the ever dutiful cameraman. But we are joined tonight by ETF2L's finest. It's SonnyBlack and Permzilla. So we've got, current head admin, former head admin. Maybe we can get some drama out of Permzilla. Unlikely. How's everyone feeling tonight? Kaidus, do you know what we're going to talk about? Have you figured it out yet?
I totally know what we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about the fundraiser and Commander X's beard, if my memory serves. Right?
In that order as well, yeah.
There's going to be a 10-minute section for the fundraiser and then another 50 minutes about my beard.
Yeah, so the reason we decided to do this, I guess, is because we hadn't done that fully charged in about a month, but also it coincided with the end, or the supposed end. I thought it was the end of the ETF2L Season 20 fundraiser, which is already beating its target. It says on the thing it's ending in 9 hours, but really, SonnyBlack told me it can be extended sort of indefinitely. So that was worrying at the point, or I was worried at the point Twitch seemed to be messing up there, but then Twitch magically came back to life, so we've done it anyway. But SonnyBlack, you're here with us. Tell us a little bit about the fundraiser history and the success of it, I guess.
The fundraiser history?
How it came about, whose idea it was, Permzilla's, and how he's now left the admin team.
At some point I've seen that Sivo had a fundraiser for their games, and I just thought, why shouldn't it work for us when we already fundraise teams to LAN? And so I started making plans, and we talked about it at I-52 and put it in place in January.
There was a lot of Season 20 hype, but in the end up, the whole fundraiser thing was pretty rushed in the end, right? We talked about it in a previous episode. Are you happy with the result, what you delivered? Did it live up to the hype?
It maybe could have been announced earlier. Like we had a different schedule. We weren't too far off. It was like a week or something. But in the end, like in January, I had exams, so therefore it was a little bit rushed and delayed.
These head admins always coming up with these real life excuses. It's like, oh, I have exams. Permzilla, I'm going to quit. I've got exams. You guys disgust me. Where's your dedication? No one going to take my bait. Okay. Well, the total for the fundraiser is currently at €3,252, and it was supposed to be like a target of 3,000. Do you think you undersold yourself a little bit there, Permzilla?
Not really. I think 3,000 is a pretty good estimate. Like it didn't reach 3,000 like 2 weeks ago or something. Like it wasn't that far off. I think any more, and it might have been, well, maybe like 3.5k would have been good, but I think 4k would have been a bit greedy. But I think it was good.
Oh, I'm being told it's just jumped over 3.3, so it's €3,300 now and two. But the reason why I thought it'd be good to do this show, because we can really try and encourage people to donate one last time. Well, I thought it was one last time, but SonnyBlack, he's just going to keep bleeding us dry till the grand finals, I think. Kaidus, as a player,
Yes.
how have you been impacted by this fundraiser? What have you thought about it overall and how it's ended up?
As a player, how have I been impacted by the fundraiser?
Yeah, is it making you want to play harder? The thought that there's going to be even more money available for you at the end of the season, is that like actually encouraging you to compete that little bit more, put a few more hours in?
Probably not, no, but I mean, I'm probably the exception who, I give my best every season, no matter what. I don't need any extra encouragement. But, no, I guess so. I think it's kind of I can feel like, from at least most teams, a bit more, like as a competitor of them, I feel like there's more serious competition this season. Like playing the seasons kind of like every week almost has been a challenge. I've played God knows how many ETF2L seasons in my life now, and it's like bar 1 or 2, it's always been like, okay, it's kind of 5 weeks of just coasting through, and then you have like 1 or 2 games you have to like knuckle down for. Like I'm always trying hard, I'm a sad little nerd, but like, yeah, it's been a really challenging season. Like, every week has kind of required a new focus and a new approach. So I think it's definitely affected it in that way.
CommanderX, do you think is it a coincidence that we've gone and we've reached for this bigger than ever prize pool, or like bigger than I can remember in recent seasons, and we end up with like 4 pretty incredible Prem teams that can all, compete for those playoff spots?
No, I don't think so. I think a couple of teams would have happened anyway, but I feel like the teams that are there are trying a little bit harder. Like, I think Avant-Garde weren't sure if they were going to sign up. Is that right? If we cast
Yeah.
our minds back, yeah, Avant-Garde weren't sure. And then I don't know how much lift for prizeman was a real factor, but I don't know. There's enough good teams to make it entertaining. Like, when I'm casting stuff, quite often you'll like give me the match I'm casting and I'll be like, oh, this is going to be a fucking boring 5-0 roll. But like, everything I've actually cast has been pretty interesting. There's not been any of that. Even when the
Yeah.
matchups look shit.
That's been surprising as well. We've even maybe seen some new Liam strategies coming out with the Shadowburn and his new focus on the conch play in recent weeks. Maybe that wouldn't have happened if we didn't have all this money on the line, but I'm probably just going to give credit to the fundraiser anyway. One thing I said I would do weeks and weeks ago, SonnyBlack, I'm sorry. I said I would write the article about darn shirt, because that was the sort of unwritten thing, and all the nice, well laid out perks and stuff on the fundraiser page. I came up with an additional perk, which was that darn shirt from I-43, and I said, yeah man, I'll write an article about that. We need to promote this on Team Fortress TV anyway. Never did it. Here we are on deadline night, 9 hours to go, although maybe more now, but what I can do is hold the shirt up to the camera and everyone can go, ooh. Hold on a minute, that's not a darn shirt, that's nerds. It is sort of back to front, but there you go. It smells fresh, and that's going to go to the person who donates the most overall. So am I right in saying, SonnyBlack, it's still a donation of €251 that's winning that?
Yep.
I was planning to donate more, but I'm stone broke right now. So that guy is gonna win. We did say whenever the fundraiser ended, and I thought it was gonna be tonight, but maybe we can drag out a bit. Who else is in the running for this? Who's like second or third in the top donations there? Apart from the guy Jason, who was number 1.
Second place is Canfo with 150, then you with 125. Then there's a couple of guys with €100, like 11.
So there's a lot of contenders there. All you have to do is whip out another €152, and you could be in the lead. Canfo, dig into that wallet. You want to, buddy. TT Esports have also contributed to the prize pool again this season, right, Sonny?
Yes.
And that is to the tune of €1,000.
Yeah, as a basis, like we made a deal, or we about to make a deal with them, which should be official in the coming week. So we have, instead of hardware, we have some money on our hands.
Is this an exclusive?
Kind of.
Not even out yet. Not announced anywhere. That TT Sports are going to give us cash instead of hardware.
You might have, if you have adblock, although I'm not sure if adblock is blocking that even, but if you look at the main site in the top right where the Google Ads bar thingy used to be, there's a TT Esports / Thermaltake 8 now.
Oh yeah?
So there is.
I can see keyboards, I can see mice, I can see headsets.
Wow, head on over to ttesports.com. You want to support them. I guess we could ask or discuss a little bit about the fundraiser itself. We've got plenty of other things to talk about tonight, but in terms of the perks, Sonny, how happy were you with them? Like, we were just saying there off air that there was like, maybe 60 perks available for mentoring sessions and stuff, and for some reason nobody claimed these €30 perks until tonight, or recently somebody claimed one for Samsy. But you've got great players there like War, Merlin, Exxon, Nox, Kaidus, all sitting empty-handed. Nobody wanted to be mentored by these guys for €30. Why is that?
Like on the one hand, maybe like it was supposed to be a group mentor session, so maybe people didn't want to just sit there with 10 others and just watch Cadus play or roll out or ask questions, or I don't know. And on the other hand, I guess the custom title was something more people wanted.
It seems a little fucked up though, right? Kaidus, because you always see these threads like people looking for mentoring and stuff. Where it is on a plate, and all you have to do is donate €30. A lot of people might have been donating anyway, but nobody seemed to want to take these mentoring things. And I thought it would be a slam dunk for perks. Like,
Yeah, it's like I've noticed lately there seems to be like, I don't know, like I'm trying to start streaming again lately, and because I'm like all crippled and stuff, I tried to do like demos and stuff. I've made posts and stuff on the forums like, yo, give me demos, I'll review them, for free. This isn't about donations, this is just about give me a demo, and I'll like meticulously go over it, asking for nothing. I got one demo in like a week of asking, so it's kind of like, I don't know, maybe people don't give a shit what I think, but I think this is kind of a thing that's happening in the scene at the moment. There is a bit like, at the moment, like less of an emphasis on people who want to improve. I don't know. I feel like people just ain't that keen at the moment, or maybe it's because there's so much like content out there, like general content, like streams to watch and this kind of stuff, that it's all kind of there on a plate. Like if you have a brain yourself and you want to just go it alone, you have everything you need really already. I think a lot of people maybe just want to do it that way. I don't know though, but it's kind of the general feeling though I get at the moment.
yeah, I don't entirely get it. Although if what you say is true and people are just like actually starting to do things for themselves, then that's awesome. But equally, it could be another sign of the impending TF2 apocalypse. TF2 is dead, etc. But moving on down, the perks, the custom title ones seem to be really popular. Permzilla and Sonny, like, what's the most ridiculous title anyone has requested so far? Did you have to ban any? Did some people ask for some unsuitable things? You had to deny them?
Not really. Nobody
Wow.
wanted to be an admin or I don't know.
Our scene is incredibly boring.
Just
Let's
opening it.
Let's cancel this whole thing. So, me being the Toucan ambassador is about the height of it. Okay.
We have a couple of weeaboos, weeaboos. And some people representing the organization. We have the MVM guy and the Nutsen fanboy, but
Permzilla, now that you're not a head admin anymore, do you want to start some drama maybe? Call SonnyBlack out for his terrible fundraiser, etc.
Well, I was still around when the fundraiser's going on, so I don't really want to trash talk myself.
Wow.
Thrilling
What a
stuff,
great-
guys.
What a great panel we've got on tonight.
Well, it's like 90% like my own work, so why would I shit about it?
Well, I'm trying to segue here, Permzilla, because obviously the big news in the recent weeks is, well, it was just like this one big news post that came out with a bunch of different things on it. Like, you quit, Hildreth quit, you banned AZN, and what else was it? Let me fucking bring it up. I don't know. But talk to us. Obviously, you've already said why you quit forums, whatever, but here's your platform, Permzilla. Tell us your story. Why did you decide to step down as head admin?
Well, basically, it's my finals at university, and it all takes up too much of my free time that I want to be doing, not working, basically. Like, I'm doing my studies, and then I want some free time, but e-tutorial takes up that free time, so yeah, unfortunately, I needed to stop it for at least a while.
Were you genuinely got it, or were you just like, thank fuck, I don't have to do this shit anymore?
No, I'm gonna miss it. I did enjoy it. Don't know if there's room for me, whether SonnyBlack will let me come back in the summer. I don't know.
no.
Still yet to be decided.
You have to take German lessons, get German citizenship before you can rejoin the admin team.
maybe. I need to try and wait to see if they add another German, because that's probably going to happen soon.
Kaidus, would you like to eulogize your homeboy Permzilla?
You did good work, man. It was okay overall. People may say you were a bad admin, but I think you were okay. Could have been better. I'll never
Thanks,
forget.
mate.
That's probably the best review any ETF2 admin has ever got.
If you remember when D2M left, I was singing a bit of a different tune, so you can scale it as you want.
I've just actually had a brainwave here because CommanderX asked me during the week to help him out with a job application. Are you applying for the job of head admin,
No.
CX? Is this what it is? It's all just starting to piece together now. You're like, oh, hey, man. Wow.
Nah,
Do you want to
like-
be an admin?
No, not really. I remember being admin for ESL back when Anakin was in charge. That was rubbish. So no, not at all. Not even a little bit.
You're denying that one then, categorically. You will not be the next ETF2 head admin. Okay. I'm looking at the news post now, actually. The other thing was that Lyrette stepped down as news writer. Like, who is actually writing news now, SonnyBlack? Who's available?
John.
And he only writes Highlander news as well. John, you little jerk.
Hello.
Every Highlander game gets up there on the ETF2 front page. All these Prem games, totally ignored. What's that about, John?
Give me the stuff.
You've
to
got a
write, I'll
Highlander
put it up
agenda.
then, mate. Just tell me what I
Okay.
need to put up.
Can they hear you on air, John, or am I just
Yes,
talking
they
to
can.
myself? Lovely, lovely. All right, tell us a little bit about the I don't know, the decline of Hildreth. Then he'd stepped in as PR admin. He'd come. He seemed to be having some good ideas. The fundraiser was partly to do with him, or was that before he arrived, SonnyBlack?
The fund, like, he wasn't even there when the fundraiser happened.
What did
think-
Hildreth achieve then in his short tenure as PR guy?
A fundraiser. Hildreth was involved in the Archimedes Cup.
Archimedes Cup. Ah, that's what I was thinking of. Yeah, so that was a big success, right?
Yeah.
How did things go sour then between Hildreth and the rest of ETFDL? Why did he decide to quit?
Not sure if I should go into that.
Well,
I think
come
you
on.
We
You have to say
finally
that about
get a
everything.
good topic here, something you don't want to talk about, and you're just gonna dry up. Permzilla, you're not part of the staff anymore. Just spill the beans, man. What the fuck happened?
No, I was already on the way out when this all happened, so I tried to avoid it. I don't really know anything, to be honest.
Such a little shit. Stop lying, mate. That's why
I'm
you
not
didn't
lying,
want
it's
to
the
put
truth.
your camera on, because you couldn't fucking lie to all these beautiful people on Twitch. I heard it was something, or it seemed to come to a head over that experimental cup that unlocks. Was that part of it, or was that the whole reason? Or, you know, I'm a close
I
guy.
thought
We're
you were
getting
already
warm.
gone by then. I thought you was already gone by the experimental cup.
Is the Hildo John chat right now? Let me see. I don't see him in Twitch chat, actually. Alright, maybe we'll get Hildreth in for a future episode. Actually, I should mention as well that Highlander Season 8 has just been announced. So the sign-ups are open from today on for the next 2 weeks. And that's going to be run... When's it going to end, SonnyBlack? I mean, the actual tournament, or when's week 1? I'll look at it myself. What the fuck?
When is season
So
8
it's-
ending?
Yeah. Starting on March the 22nd, so like 3 weeks time, 2 weeks time. Season starts
I think the finals are on
end of May.
May 24th or something. And the main season runs from March 29th till May 14th.
Is that going to be any interest to you, Kaidus? The way it falls just towards the end of the sixth season? Could you be tempted into Highlander, or is your wrist just too wrecked right
Oh,
now?
mate, I've already got a big Highlander team lined up. I'm maining Spy. Hopefully in mid. We're going big in mid. Hopefully. Sandbag in mid. I'm Spy. I don't know what else is happening.
You want to raise the curtain on that roster, you know? Got any more deets?
I The roster's confirmed. I don't fuck if I know who's on it. Hang on, I'll look it up. Okay, the team name is Where is Kaido? It's pretty good because I'm on Spied. You get the joke. It features big hitters such as Epoli, Permzilla, Balash, Smizzy, Gubbins, Loris. I can't remember who I've said, but some others as well.
Like, that's a lot of formerly Prem Highlander players. How can you guys be playing the sandbag mid?
Well, I don't know. I'm just throwing mid out there. I have no idea like the state of the Highlander scene. But I mean, I'm playing Spy. I don't think I've ever played Spy. Like pretty much everyone's playing a class that they're not good at, apart from the people that are actually like not experienced Highlander players. But I don't know. Like I guess if we're high, it's not the end of the world. But like high or mid, something like that. It's like we're just gonna play matches. We're not really gonna practice or anything. But it's a Highlander team, and I'm in it. So that answers the question.
CommanderX, what are your thoughts on Highlander?
It's okay.
You gonna play? You gonna compete?
No, probably not. I only
Me
have like
neither.
a couple of play nights a week, so I'm not going to bother dedicating them to Highlander.
John, what's the Blackouts plans then for the new season? You gonna cover the shit out of that?
Yeah.
I heard you
I
were
think
thinking
we
of buying a new streaming PC. Is that confirmed?
50-50. It's like in process. I don't know. It's somewhere.
Imagine watching Highlander at 1080p. That's the dream, right, guys? John's thinking about buying a transcoding rig or whatever the hell. Anyway, Highlander, definitely a hot topic right now, but we're going to move on to discuss CommanderX's beard. What's going on, buddy? It's not Movember. What is this?
I don't know, just haven't shaved in a while.
Really?
I've got facial. I've got facial hair envy, of course, but it seemed to surprise a lot of people today in the chat,
Yeah,
and
a
they've
lot
been
of
asking us
racist
to discuss it.
comments.
It wasn't on the agenda originally, but what does it mean?
In terms of what? In terms of the fundraiser?
Just what does your beard mean for the future of TF2 is really what I'm wondering, CX.
I don't know. Hopefully TF2 will last longer than my beard, because I'm getting it cut like next week.
Are you going to keep part of it, or just take the whole thing off?
Maybe
Have
I'll
you thought
give
this
it
through?
away as a perk.
Oh, that's a good idea, actually. Sonny, extra perk to own Commander X's beard, or maybe even decide what sort of beard cut he gets, what sort of style. Are
I'm
you
shaving
game?
it for a job interview, so I don't think I want the ETF12 community to choose the style.
Okay. So you haven't converted to Islam then? Can you confirm?
I can confirm.
Some people are saying that your beard itself is an Islamist terrorist. Is your beard open to extreme views?
Yeah, it's really on board with ISIS and all that, so it's sometimes hard, holding a conversation with such a racist beard.
No, I'm impressed by it, man. That's impressive growth. I think we could, if we've paid some lip service to the beard, we can move on to ETF12 Season 20, mainly talking about the Prem, I guess. Well, let's talk a little bit Permzilla. Or did he leave Mumble, or is he back with us?
I'm back, sorry.
Oh, yeah.
The internet is that bad.
The Swiss system, man, your baby. Tell us about the implementation, any teething problems. I've seen that thread where some people have pointed out issues. There were some things that were a little weird about the algorithm, but they're being ironed out, is that right?
Yeah, there were some problems in like the first couple of weeks, which is pretty standard. Like bugs that we can work out just by testing came up, and they've all been fixed now. I think like the last couple of weeks we haven't had any problems, so I think it's pretty ironed out now.
What's the reaction been like then to the Swiss system overall? Has there been many complaints? Any complaints?
Not that I've heard. I think most people sort of like it. A couple of people that have issues with the way playoffs are going to work, like the amount of teams that get in, or the way teams know that they're going to be in playoffs for the end of the season, and they can abuse that and stuff like that. But I think most people are liking it, really.
Has Rock not been writing you weekly emails asking you to change your mind and
Rock
bring it back to the old
just
division system?
No, Rock just tells me I'm killing TF2 every time I see him in Twitch, but he doesn't actually send me anything on Steam because I don't have him added.
It's probably for the best. So you mentioned the playoffs there a little bit. Have you guys settled on numbers, formats, etc.? Do you want to release any details, or have they been released already?
The numbers are already on the tables. The rows for playoffs are highlighted blue, so it's 4 for high, 8 for mid, and 16 for open.
Why?
Why what?
Why is it so random? Like, why is it 4 for high?
Why is it random? It's 1/8 of the teams, of the total teams, except for open.
Because it's like, why? Why is it 4?
Why should
Why-
it be
why
8?
is-
Why
why
should
is-
be a quarter of the teams be allowed into playoffs?
Because playoffs is like the best part of the season, and if you have time to do more than 4 teams in playoffs, like, is there something about high? Like, is there such a skill gap between 4th and 5th? Like, why? I don't understand the reason to limit them if they don't need to be limited.
The schedule's already pretty crammed.
But you can do
Like, it's
16.
2 weeks,
But you can do 16 for one division.
but we don't really have a choice open because the top 16 will be so evenly matched because there's so many teams. Like the top 16
But-
in open are really close.
But like, do you not see my point? Like, if there's clearly time for it, or you couldn't do 16. So if there's time for it in one division, surely there's time for it in another, and it doesn't have to be 16. Like, I thought 8 would be like the good number.
We
Like-
just, I think 8 out of considering 8 out of 32 teams is quite a large number of teams that make playoffs. It needs to be something that's like prestigious.
Well, I don't know,
You know
because
what I mean?
okay, I guess I'm really used to following ESEA. Like, a long time ago, I used to play in it and stuff, and all their divisions have like IM has like a 16-team playoff, and it was always like a really, really like enjoyable part of the season, either like playing or just to follow. Like, it was kind of the one time because like the season ends, there's not anything else going on. Like, there's no Prem games to watch. Like, if for ESEA, you're waiting for LAN, and suddenly like it's all this attention is suddenly drawn onto like IM, for example, because normally no one gives a crap because there's invite to watch, but then there's no invite to watch, and suddenly everyone is kind of interested in IM for once because it's the best level of TF2 going to watch. It just seems like you could capitalize on that more and have more than 4 teams if you have time for it. Because I mean, hang on, I'm just going to pull up the table so I have a clue what I'm talking about. Because I mean, at the moment, it seems like there's really good teams. Like, this could change. Obviously, there's still 2 weeks left to play, but between 5th and 8th, there's really good teams in 5th and 8th. Like, Foreskins are quite good. Danger Dogs have been quite impressive. I don't know so much about the others, but I know that at least like Team Infamous are keen and they're trying and they really want to get into playoffs and all this. I just don't see the reason not to capitalize on that and have more of a spectacle of it if it's feasible. I mean, if there was no time, I would understand, but I mean, clearly there is time. And I mean, just as a contrast, I mean, we had a 14 playoff in Prem for umpteen years, and I mean, arguably that, like having 50% of the division in playoffs, it was kind of,
you can't
it was
compare Prem because like obviously you can't have just like a Prem and then 2 teams in a final. That's, you want to create more hype. That's why there's more teams in Prem.
Yeah, no, I'm not saying that Prem had like a good playoff system. Like 4 out of 8 was a bit questionable, but I mean, 4 out of
Even if you do
4
the
out,
math,
4 out
though,
of 23, it seems
like
like
if you're saying that it's an eighth of each division or whatever, like 3 out of 8 teams in Prem go to the playoffs, so that would be like 12 out of 32 in high. So why have you only got 4? You're lying to me, Permzilla. It doesn't make sense.
Well, like I said, you can't really use Prem as an example because
It doesn't
there's 8
make sense either
teams,
because you're
so you
like,
can't just
the money goes down from the highest division to the lowest. So like you're making more people fight over less money in the lower divisions, and then it's going up and it's like less people getting a chance at more money. I don't know.
I
It
just
doesn't.
it makes more sense because there's more teams that will have similar points level in open because like there's more teams in the tier. The points will just more even because they won't play as many teams around them.
I'm not
There's a
saying you shouldn't have a big playoff in open. I'm saying you should have a bigger playoff in high because like these teams are good this season.
what about
And,
point
like, it's more
difference? There's a 3-point
understand the
difference
point.
between 4th and 8th. That's one map. Like, let's say that's 2 points difference between 4th and 8th for the moment. That's less than one map win. I don't understand how points difference really comes into that. But sorry for cutting you off.
I can understand that maybe 6 teams would be good, but I think 8 is just too much. Like
Why?
I said, I put this on the forums as I think perhaps.
Yeah, but you
like,
put it on the forums, but you just put like I think it would be silly. But that's not an argument. That's just a
It's just-
statement.
Just eight teams out of 20, like
It's-
there's
yeah,
23
but
left.
it's
8 teams
20
out of 32 is just
Ah,
too
but
big of a
that-
percentage.
It's 23 now, but I mean every team that's dropped has matches like recorded and matches that have contributed to the total points accumulation of the season. So it seems a bit like you can't look at it as 23 teams. It's 32, and how is 8 out of 32 too much? I just don't follow that. Where does this claim of too much even come from anyway? Like, how is there too much? Like, why is it too much? How can there be too much?
Why are we talking Permzilla anyway? He's not even a fucking admin anymore. SonnyBlack, we want more people, more teams in the playoffs. We demand it.
Can demand all you want.
Think about it, man. Think about it.
I
Would you
just don't feel like
consider
you're-
it at least?
You're just like not capitalizing on the
Surely it'd be more of a spectacle.
Yeah, like Danger Dogs, Four Skins, even Team Infamous are up there. Like these are all teams with known players that have some kind of following. Like Warhayer may not be in playoffs, and like a lot of the Danger Dogs guys, they're quite well known. Like at least at that skill level, I feel like there's interest there. Like I would watch these games. I would watch the fourth, the fifth team versus the eighth team or whatever. I don't see the reason to exclude them. I think you have like quite a solid top 8 there. Maybe not quite a top 8, like maybe a top 6 with like a slight skill difference from 6th to 8th. But I mean, pretty much every competition has a weak links in it, like the underdogs, or the Danger Dogs.
Lol.
But I don't know. It doesn't really. I just don't understand how you can say that it's too much, like too many teams. I mean, someone made quite a reasonable point on the forums. Like, the more matches you have to play, the more reliable the outcome is going to be. Like, if first plays 8th and 8th wins, then goddamn 8th deserve that, don't they? I mean, I don't know. Seems weird to me.
Or do they deserve it because they've played like a lot lower in the season, haven't they? So overall, first team,
Well, yeah,
team
but
that plays first is
But we have
better.
we have a playoff system. If we weren't willing to allow the team that finished first to get upset and out, we wouldn't have playoffs in the first place. And if they can lose to 8th, like, then why not have the 8th team participate? But the only reason to say it's too much is because you end up with 2 big skill gaps, and all of the matches are really boring until the final. But I see the teams there, and I think
the
you
skill
have the
gap is
team.
very subjective, though. You have to like it might be the case for this season, but like you're looking at the teams for this season, you can't really you can't change it per season because then it just
Why not? You're the fucking admin. You can do whatever the fuck you want, man.
Well, it's better to have like a consistent number of teams that get into playoffs than number of teams that get relegated just for consistency, and people know what's gonna happen. Like the number of teams that got released like a couple of days ago, and teams knew how many teams were gonna be in playoffs. Like you can't really have it late notice in the future, so you can't adapt it around the teams. We can't look at which teams are gonna be signed up for season 21 and then choose how many in playoffs.
But when
Wait,
was-
they didn't know this fucking season.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
how
when
many
did
were
the
going to be in playoffs? You just decided last week, man. And it's like, well, fucking week
Yeah, but
5.
it's a new
argument.
system. That's the whole idea. We didn't know at that point. We were still deciding.
But is there an outrage in the forums? Damn you, Permzilla. We didn't know there was going to be only 4 teams or
Yep.
16 teams. Does anyone give a fuck?
Yeah, but Frack makes a point as well, not every team's going to play each other, so the ordering might not be 100% either. So therefore, the more teams involved, the more reliable.
In the playoffs. Yeah. Yeah. But we could have a whole episode on this. I just totally looked into this topic of conversation, by the way. It wasn't a plan or anything, but... are you guys just unwilling to change because you've already made your minds up, or what? You actually think this is the best way to go? Now that we've opened your eyes, are you gonna turn around, think about it at least, SonnyBlack, Permzilla? Are you gonna consider it? What do people on Twitch chat think? Do we have enough teams in the playoffs? Hello?
I think 6 is reasonable, but I think 4 and 6 are both reasonable. But 8
Yeah, but
is just too
6?
much,
What
in my
are you
opinion.
going to
Why
do?
would you have 6?
But if you're
Why
having a
wouldn't you have
bracket,
8?
man,
You can do
you want
6.
multiples
You can
of
do 6
2.
with 1 and 2 as a buy. Like
Or
1 and 2 get a buy into
Pardon?
each round.
You could,
And
but I mean, then why not
3
just have 8?
plays 6, 4 plays 5. But what? Why not
Why not just have 8?
Yeah,
Like-
because then the top 2 seeds have something to warm them up, if they are just going to smash them, but they also might not.
It's not
smash
going to be
them.
all on one night. It's not like Prem playoffs. It's over the course of a week, so it's not like they won't have teams to play.
Why not make it over a few days, or
It is over a few days.
like 2 days. You know what I mean? You could play
How does it
8
work? Is it like,
teams.
do you split the weeks in half and then you say you have to play one match like first half of the week or what, something like that, or?
I will probably do it like I did it for season 19 playoffs and just make like see when teams are at least for open, because the skill like teams are much more close and open in the top 16. So I will just see when teams can play and match teams according to when they can play and their skill or how they placed.
Do you guys have any idea how much, or how you're going to divide up the fundraiser then amongst the divisions? Like, we already know there's at least, let me refresh this, 3,000, 3,003, come on internet. Whoa, it keeps going up,
352.
awesome.
Yeah, we got like $100
3,352.
tonight. Dollars? Euros.
$100.
So, any idea how that's going to be split? What money there's going to be for high, mid, open, SonnyBlack?
We have a guaranteed 1,000 euros from what we are getting from TT, and on top of that, like we have no fixed numbers yet. I'm juggling around with the numbers at the moment, but it's most like we are still thinking about if we should give money to open or not, because it seems kind of redundant. Like teams, like if you're placing third in open, you would get like per player you would get like €4 or something. So it's on top, like we're not sure. Like at the moment in my spreadsheet, it's like 40% to Prem, 32 high, 22 mid, and 10 to open, which would give open third place like €3 or something.
€3 each, or between the team? €3 between 6? 50 cents each? Is that what you're telling me?
No, in my spreadsheet it's different actually.
Okay.
Yeah, like open would get between 90 and €120 in total as a prize pool.
It would be sort of cool though, or I just thought it would at least, to be able to, you know, have a prize for open. There is one in ESEA, right? They get something.
I'm pretty sure
Am I
that
wrong?
historically the winner of Open gets roughly the winner of Prem in, like, if you're comparing seasons gone by. Something like that anyway. If you win Open, I'm pretty sure you get roughly what the Prem winners would get in like
But they pay
last
to
season.
play.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, obviously they have like a professional league with like a real financial backing, so it's a bit different.
Additionally to if we decide to give them money, they also get the items we received. So that's a couple of keys and kill streaks and hats and stuff.
Oh yeah, what actually happened with that? Because that was a whole other side to the fundraiser, that people were supposed to be able to donate items, and then we had the sort of drama and with TF2 pickup, etc., looking to donate items. What was the outcome of that? They gave items towards the fundraiser, or what, Sonny?
The only like community organisation sort of thing that gave us items was main court.tf, as far as I'm aware.
And am I right in saying that people were invited to donate things, like the general public?
Yeah,
Or
when we announced it, it was advertised that like people could donate to this fundraiser account we had running, and a few people did, not as many as I'd hoped. Perhaps we didn't advertise it as well, but I sort of messed things up with the account, so it wasn't ready in time. That might have not helped, but we got a decent amount.
so I guess that's one thing to consider for season 21. Any rough date actually? We're talking about playoffs and stuff here, but when is the next season of 6 is roughly going to happen, or what sort of time period are we talking about? Have you got a rough idea? Permzilla? Sonny?
I don't know.
Wait, where's my spreadsheet?
Sonny
Season
Black, no man of
21
many
is
spreadsheets.
Season 21 is planned to open signups. What month is that? End of April, so like April 26th. Somewhere
Okay,
around that.
There's going to be a few lands as well there, and I should have written that down. We could talk about that. I don't know. Yeah, that's awesome actually. So, people are still asking to talk about CommanderX's beard, but I think we've exhausted that one. I had a message there from Heis, demanding that the next topic of conversation would be CX equals Jihadi John. But, you know, we've been there or thereabouts. I'll give you an opportunity to comment, CX. Are you Jihadi John?
I'm just ordering a turban right now. Hold on.
Okay.
Grand.
Moving on
Just gonna roll
swiftly
with it
then.
now.
I've milked the last. Nah. Okay. Season 20 so far then. Kaidus, your thoughts on the Premiership this season? Who surprised you? Who has been underwhelming? Or is everything just going as you expected?
Okay. Looking back, I mean, at the start of the season, I mean, I hoped for a bit more out of Lethal Weapon, but I mean, with these Russian teams, you never really know what's going to happen. But I mean, a little bit disappointed by them. At least their early weeks, they kind of went through this transitional period. They did the BK thing of shaking everything up, but I think mostly it's kind of gone, you know, kind of how people expected. I mean, I don't know. Anything specific you want to know? Just kind of, I could just ramble all day otherwise.
Tell me about the Reason Dream then, you know, from the start of the season until now. Maybe the biggest game for you guys was that 1 point you managed to get from Suave. Have you recovered from that yet?
Yeah, like we recovered. Like I mean, we played the game like for like you know the immediate period after the game. Like that night, it felt like I don't know. It felt like we played really badly, but then it kind of you know we composed ourselves. I mean, I checked the VODs and stuff, and looking back on it, it was like it was such a throw. Like we really should have taken more than 1 point from it, and I think we, yeah, pretty disappointed we only got 1 point from that in the end. But I mean, going into the season, you know, I mean, we were just happy to get to playoffs, and we're still completely on track for that. It's still like kind of within our hands, and we're pretty confident for that. Like I don't know, like I put a roster together that was not really full of you know ex-prem contenders and stuff, so kind of we get to playoffs and anything more than that's a bonus. But I mean, as the season's gone on, I think we're kind of like our own worst enemies. I think at least in certain periods of the season, we've been the strongest team by quite some margin. It's just about turning that into results, though. I think it's where the experience kind of comes into it. But yeah, I mean, I'm pretty confident we can do that in the end of the season, though.
How has the ban of one of your players affected your season? You know, AZN.
Oh,
Have you
yeah, we
disowned
took
him already? You just forgotten about that?
We took a pretty big hit from that one. But no, to be fair, like we used him in the Sunshine Cup. That was the first time I ever spoke to him, and until he got banned, it was the last time I spoke to him. I mean, I messaged him when he got banned just because it was like I was like, well, did you cheat? What's going on there, man? And he was like, he just said that he was so mad. He never actually said one way or the other if he was cheating. Like he didn't say they've got this wrong, I'm innocent, and he didn't say yeah, I cheated. So that kind of says it all for me, you know. But yeah, I mean,
there was no outcry, no public support for him. Has he just got no friends, or is he just a blatant hacker?
I really don't know, to be honest. Like I say, like we played with him in the Sunshine Cup. It's the only time we ever actually played with him. I mean, he asked to back up for us on Rome, and like we said to him, like Zub is perhaps the most reliable gamer there is, so we'll take you, but you know your chances are going to be limited. But yeah, like I'm kind of like I feel like it's kind of a weird position. Normally, when someone's player gets banned, you're supposed to feel like guilty, or like you're supposed to apologize and say, "Oh, I'm sorry, we used a cheater, we didn't know." But it's like he was. He was a sub for a player that's always there. One night Zub wasn't there. Zub had a Highlander match, like a final or a semi-final or something. So we used him in a Sunshine Cup. So it's kind of like, yeah, whatever. You can have the what was it? The Cow Mangler Kill Streak kit back if you want.
Like I first became aware of AZN just in TF2 pickup and stuff, and he always did have really consistently high stats. CX, did you ever question was AZN legit against him?
I never thought
At
he
any
was
point?
that good. Like when I
Like,
played pickups, he didn't seem that hot.
It wasn't aim assist, it was ESP, according to the ETF2 anti-cheat team.
What does that mean?
like extrasensory perception, where you can have, I guess, a wall hack, but
It's basically
also
like
health
you
and
can-
stuff available to you.
Yeah, I always interpret it as being like that screenshot from Matnan when he got banned. It was like, he could see stats through a wall, so he didn't really see the
Oh,
player
okay.
through the wall, but he had like, their health floating around them, but he could see that through walls. So it kind of functioned like a wall hack, and but also
Sort of
gave
like
him like
the
extra
caster
info.
setup.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think he's probably, like I said, I don't really know him that well, but I think he's one of those players. Someone wrote this somewhere. I don't know who it is, but I'm kind of paraphrasing them. He's one of these players.
Cheeky, probably.
It fucking actually might be. He's one of these players that was good at the game and cheated anyway for some reason. Because I think he definitely was like legit, like as far as his aim went and his movement. Like he was a skilled player. And I don't know I don't know him on a personal level to say why would he cheat, but I don't think we should discount his actual skill and say like he was always garbage and cheated his way to backupping at the top or whatever. He was probably a
The
good player.
dream. Come back up.
Yeah, he was probably a good player, and just, I mean, I think Sheepy said he didn't have the confidence or something. He needed the boost to make himself believe he could play there, but I don't know. I think he made a mistake. He could have been a top player one day without cheats. But now
Permzilla,
TF2 will be dead when he comes back.
Let me ask you, Permzilla, then, if you were to compare the certainty of bans, on one hand, I've got AZN and the other I've got BOD. Which one do you think is the more certain? Which one can you stand over?
Well, I have not looked at the evidence either of them since I am fucking clueless. As clueless as anyone about who cheats or not, so there's no point me looking at, demos or whatever. So I've never done it, so I have no idea. But
Worst head admin.
I trust
SonnyBlack,
AC
you're sitting
teams,
there
so they're both
laughing.
cheating.
Like, once the AC team have made a decision, it's never even going to be questioned.
Because I'm looking at the evidence.
So
unlike
AZN was
others.
open and shut case. It was 100%, no doubt in your mind. You committed him to death row. You're going to flip that switch, man. You're going to fry this kid's career.
If it's that obvious, why wouldn't I?
Okay, so what about BOD then? I still hold a candle for BOD. Did anyone from ETF12 review after the original ban? After our fully charged cry? Did anyone do anything about it, or was it just like, yeah, BOD's banned, that's it? No review of the evidence, no nothing.
Like after the first or the second ban, and what should we review? Like,
Yeah,
what
man,
was
like if you're
done
on death
before?
row and some new evidence comes to light, or
What new?
If I-
Oh, look, here's a demo of me not cheating.
if I say to you, BOD's legit, mate, you should check that out again, would you consider it?
Then I look at the old evidence and see that he's still cheating. So that he still cheated in that demo.
Did you review it? Are you in the AC team, SonnyBlack?
I have access to the AC forum, and if there's a prominent case, I look at it. Not looking at everything.
Now that we're in this sort of dying hours of the fundraiser, it was joked about many times. A perk where BOD's evidence will be released. Now's the time, man. Throw it out there. It's jumped up again. Somebody's donated at €20. Thank you. Community.
CommanderX did.
That's me.
Well played, CX. But somebody out there has just got money burning a hole in their pocket. The people want to know, was BOD's ban legit? How much, SonnyBlack? Put a number on it.
It used to be 1,000, but now that we are so close to the end, say 2,000.
What about AZN's evidence? I'll give you €20.
Nah. That won't
Alright,
even get
sorry.
me your shirt back.
I forgot you guys don't joke about the serious issues of anti-cheat adminning. We were talking about season 20 so far. CommanderX, how have you enjoyed casting the Prem games?
Yeah, it's been fun. Like, even though all the games have been closed, like I said earlier, everything is still kind of, I guess, where you'd expect it to be. The top 4 teams are who you'd think the top 4 teams would be, and so on. There's not been any real major upsets. But I don't know.
What's the memorable moment for you been then from what you've seen so far this season, or like who
Oh,
sort of
God.
stood out for you or impressed you a little bit? For me,
Forsaken, man.
I'm gonna say Sorex because every time I see a Lego game, he's beasted up. And Lego are slowly but surely getting better as well, which
They
is
got a
really
point,
encouraging.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's
like it's far
that was
from
impressive.
like I don't know, they seem better than they did when I casted them like right back at the beginning of the season.
Was that their first
But-
point?
Yeah, it was their
Yeah.
first point.
So that was sort of like a perfect storm of events, I guess. Last week, Lego had slowly been improving. Already had Sorex just beasting it up every game anyway, no matter how the rest of the team has performed. But they moved their pocket Josh on the roamer the week before that against Lethal Weapon, but they were sort of struggling against the Conch. But the switch seemed to be working for them. Crizzle on pocket now. But then as well, they went against an AGP team who were with two mercs, right? They had Demula and Nico for
yeah,
tech and Flippy, was that it?
Yeah. I know. I
So,
don't
like-
think that's like obviously the tech Demul thing is like a downgrade, but I'm not sure of the Flippy Nico thing. Makes
You
too
had
much of a difference.
Bull on for an interview afterwards, though, and he was pretty clear that he felt he'd really missed that chemistry between he and Tech. Seems like Tech, yes, not just that he carries in his pretty incredible stats, like he's the number one rated sonar at the minute, but also in terms of organising the team a little bit.
I think, like, I could be wrong, but if you go back to, I mean, what were they called? Punchline, like way back in the day, like pre I-46. I think Tech and Flippy are the two players left over from there. Like, they are like kind of the staple of that team. They've been there the whole way. I mean, Flippy's partnered multiple scouts like Demul, Pla, and now Flip. Tech's had multiple medics. T-Mac came in a bit later. Exxon, they had Flynn before him, but Flippy and Tech have kind of both always been there. And when you take, the two mainstays for 3 years out of the team and you put two other guys in, I'm not surprised it kind of doesn't go so well.
But like Nico, man, he's got some of the best stats at the minute. Sure, stats aren't everything, but you could imagine that he could stand in for Flippy, especially when he had that game where Flip played for eShock against BK and they took Gullywash.
Yeah,
Like-
I mean, it wasn't
Yeah,
that big a hit not having Flippy, but I'm just kind of looking at more like everything, everything at once. Like you take the two most stable players out of that roster, the ones that have been there the whole time. Like you're missing Tech, okay, that's a big blow, but at least it's only one guy. But then not only are you missing, your pocket, your beast, and everything, but then you're also missing the only other guy who's been there the whole time. So it's like everything at once. It can just kind of catch up to you, and then as soon as when you're in that situation, when you go down, like I didn't see the game, I just saw the golden cap. You go down, you don't have those two guys there, the experienced ones that have been there the whole time to like pull you back up and drag you out like a Flippy headshot or just Tech, generally being Tech. You don't have that stability, and suddenly in a match scenario, the confidence can go, and like you were probably going into that game so self-assured, really confident, and it only
Mhm.
takes one thing to kind of knock you off that perch, and you don't have those big players to pull you back in, even if they're good players that are filling in for them. They're not in that team. They don't really know the atmosphere. They don't know what's kind of normally happening when the regular player's there.
But those just reminded me as well of something like Demul covered, and Demul didn't have a mic, so he was playing pocket without a mic.
He
which
didn't have a
kind of obviously-
mic?
He didn't have a mic. He still doesn't have one. He just
What?
said in chat. Yeah, he didn't have a mic.
Oh
but
god.
They figured they could beat Lego anyway, I guess. Was the
How long has that
basis,
been going on for? Has he been playing for
Dunno.
eShock without a mic?
Without a
Dunno.
brain. Under the bed hit for the whole of his fucking first fixture. He's actually been good for eShock in some games though.
He was
like,
good.
later in the season.
Yeah, like he wasn't bad. I just imagine, you go from like someone you have really tight chemistry with to someone who literally can't speak to you. It's gonna be tough.
Demil's legit, I believe. It just, I guess that lack of chemistry, and the other element in that game, the Lego game, was that the second map was Sunshine, which is like obviously the map that people have the least experience on. So as I say, a bit of a perfect storm there. Don't want to necessarily talk about every game that's happened so far in the 5 weeks of Prem. Every game was covered by teamfortress.tv, so a little pat on the back there for everyone involved. Like the streamers have been available an incredible rate. We've had loads of casters. We've had new people coming in to cast as well, like the Lash. We had Gubbins the other night. We had Sheepy casting as well. Even CommanderX has returned. We've had Marilyn. Kaidus has been casting games. It's been a really positive season for the coverage as well. Until SonnyBlack comes along and throws a fucking spanner in the work this week and he schedules 3 Prem games for the same fucking day. What are you doing to me, Sonny?
Like, if teams can only make Thursday, what am I supposed to do? Like,
We need a rule.
C play can only, like, Blob is away from Sunday till Wednesday, so they can only make Thursday, and Kratos is already not there. And
German favoritism.
who else is playing?
Good question.
It's Lethal Weapon against Suave and Reason
Yeah,
against
Swerve can only make
Xander.
Thursday because Numlock has League of Legends games or something.
Fucking Numlocked. Fuck that guy. Why did he come back? No, I'm busting your chops, SonnyBlack. Obviously, it's not your fault. It's Kaidus' fault. What a jackass.
What?
I heard
was-
you guys
I-
were going to change your game and then you changed it back
Yeah,
again.
I was begging to play Tuesday, and then
Baking.
no, originally not begging, but like
Sonny.
I was speaking to BK and I was saying I would much rather play Tuesday. Then they wrote on the match page, we'd rather play Thursday. Nothing else, just we'd rather play Thursday. No, we can't play any other day. Just we'd rather play Thursday, and they defaulted to Thursday. So I'm like, all right, fuck it. I'll change all my plans and I'll be available for Thursday properly. Whereas before I would have been maybe a bit late or whatever. And then suddenly they want to change to Tuesday. I'm like, fuck that. I just like rearranged my life to play a video game. You're gonna play on the day we said we're gonna play now. Like, I was down to play Tuesday.
Alright, I'll let you off the hook. And it
Yeah.
seems like we might actually be able to cast all 3 games at once.
We're going
Perhaps
all in, aren't we?
a TFTV first there, 3 streams at the same damn time. And all 3 games look pretty exciting. Like, I guess
Maps
we
are
should
good too.
we should talk about it. Yeah, it is going to be the first appearance of Viaduct. So it's still Sunshine remaining then from week 5. So Sunshine and Viaduct, the games that are all happening on Thursday. Let's get your reactions. Starting from the top here on the fixtures page, it's C-Play versus Lego, and I'm under the impression that C-Play are without Kratos as well, which might actually help them a little bit
I
there.
was about to say that's not a bad thing.
Wow, that's rude.
Who are they using instead? Do we know?
I don't know, actually. Taking a look at the match page. It doesn't say, actually. Let me look at the roster. Who have they got on backup? Well, that has
Cock
joined
Wizard.
recently. Cock Wizard. Who is Cock Wizard?
I don't know.
What an awesome name.
I hope it's him.
Kerry's a good guy, right? Is he a soldier? Think about it anyway. But either way, C-Play should be the team with the edge here. They've been a little bit more consistent throughout the season. They've had a really solid combo, I feel, in Blub and Feeling. They've performed well. And yeah, they're coming up against Lego, who are slightly improving. Like, if we're talking in terms of the bottom 4 teams in the Prem here, but C-Play have been a little more consistent than Lego, but Lego are on the up and up, so it could be like this, their lines crossing over each other here. Who are you feeling can take it, CX?
I think Lego would take it. Like, towards the end, when I was watching them in their last game against Avant-Garde, they were really actually starting to put some plays together, like Josh and Sorex would put some plays together. So if they can keep that ball rolling, they might actually get something out of it. Crizzle's decent on pocket too.
Kaidus?
I think C-Play will take that one. I mean, I haven't seen Lego play other than the Golden Cab. I haven't seen them play in a while. Like, they're one of those teams that don't seem to want to PCW us. They always kind of ignore us or say, oh, we'll see if we can get a worse opponent or whatever when we try and play them. But based on what I saw at the start of the season, they're the kind of team they're waiting for you to make a mistake that they can capitalize on. And kind of against a team like C-Play aren't going to like kind of YOLO in and make a lot of mistakes for you to work off of. They're going to play it quite conservatively, and I think it's not going to help that like C-Play are an all-round more skilled team. Like, other than Sorex, like Sorex probably outplays both their scouts on like an individual level. I think as a team, like they're like kind of better on all fronts. I mean, Lego can sneak it against some teams, like for example the French, especially when they have mercs, because they do play quite an all-in style, which gives them these opportunities. C-Play won't do that though. C-Play will play, they'll have an advantage and they'll push on that advantage. And if they don't, they're going to play, quite safe and kind of probe and try and manufacture an advantage. Whereas, AGP, BK, they're just going to outskill. They're going to try and outskill you, and if they fuck it up, then it could mean you take a round just from one mistake they make. But C play will make a mistake, you know, and then they'll lose one cap for it, and probably outplay them on the next. I think.
But one of the maps is Viaduct.
Yeah, I mean, Viaduct is it's a weird one. I mean, I don't know, is there a sniper on Lego now? I mean, Hellberg was always the one that kind of went big on Viaduct. Is Sorek snipe? I assume he's probably
he's
done.
got
He's done it a
internet.
couple of times.
Yeah,
I think
I haven't
Sorex
seen
would be
enough.
best on Scout, to be honest. Like, because obviously Scout on Viaduct is very powerful too.
I know, it could go like either way, because I mean, Lego strike me as time team, they waste so much time, they waste so many like small advantages, they're always waiting for a huge one. And on Viaduct, it could go one of two ways. Either they, you know, they play the clock, they realize, okay, this is a clock game now, and they throw that out the window and just play, you know, like I'd expect a Prem team to play and go for it. Like push the small advantages or push dry, like on evens. Or they're going to play their regular game and just get stomped. But if they actually like realize that they can't play that way on Viaduct, maybe they have a chance. I don't know.
I think like now they've stacked their flank a bit more, Lego, like with their better players. I think that will help them at least on Viaduct.
Yeah, I feel like Sorix, he's always on his own though. Like he plays like I could see him getting a lot of frags, but always, you know, dying at the wrong time.
It was funny.
What was
'cause, like,
that game?
For most of the game, like he was playing pretty conservative, right? You know, like getting some nice kills and that. And then as soon as he started getting a couple of kills, he just literally just fucking taped his W button down and just kept going in. Like the golden cap was like 15 minutes and he had 14 deaths. And even though he got a few 6 sprees, he just kept going in no matter what. It's like
Yeah.
as soon as he feels like his aim is like on point, he just feels fucking unbeatable.
It's like I
It
can
just
see
takes
them.
every fight.
Like I can see them capping the mid, you know, and then they're gonna cap, and he's gonna see a frag. He's gonna chase the demo. He's gonna, you know, just as I would trade for the demo, and it's like it looks like a good play on paper, but then you know that demo's spawning before you, and suddenly your team's being pushed on 6v5. So I don't know. I've never seen them play the map to be honest, but like it could go either way. But I wouldn't expect them to do that great.
I'm back in Lego, I believe. I think they've made a progression from, you know, the old days of Lego where they were this super defensive team. They're trying to, you know, come to terms with the fact they've got a beast like Sorex who can open so many doors for them, and they're starting to believe a little bit. So I want to see them smash C play. We've talked about that fucking game for ages actually, but there are obviously
The
two
main
other
event.
big games on Thursday. CX is signing himself up, cast C play Lego, okay. But the perhaps the headline game, I guess, is Raisin Gaming versus Zenutsun Rollerbladers. And BK are coming into this off the back of coming up with pretty much the same result against Suave as you. They only managed to get that one golden cap point.
What a shitfest
So-
that game was, man. Dude. I don't know if you saw that. I casted, like not casted, but I watched the SCVs on my stream. That fucking Sunshine game was some of the worst TF2 I've ever seen. Yeah, go
Yeah.
on, sorry.
No, it was like BK, their decision making around CP2 on Sunshine was pretty horrific. Compared to Nox, who was just playing it super safe all the time. They had that was the game where Larval Extract played as well. They didn't have Merlin, they changed it up. Like they couldn't have given BK more of a chance to beat them really. But BK failed to deliver there or take advantage of that. They couldn't capitalize. So maybe they're coming in on a little bit of a downer, or they've been brought back down to earth. I know they haven't. They managed to sort of pull the rug out from under AP in that game back in, what was it, like week 2 or 3, or not that long ago, where they like robbed AGP, robbery for sure. But like they're definitely there. I guess they're your closest contender. Is that fair?
Hmm?
Like are they your closest contender?
what?
Like you've got Swab at the top. Then is it Reason BK?
According to the
What's the
tables,
ELO
it
say?
is- ELO says we're much better than everyone, but ELO is not so reliable. Like the table says that's how it is, so I guess we'll just have to use that as a basis for now. Pretty important game though for both teams. I mean, in theory, it could mean nothing. You know, if AGP aren't taking significant points from Suave, it doesn't mean a damn thing to either of us really. We're both going to make playoffs, barring like a weird result in our other matches. I think they have, I think they have Lethal Weapon, and we have Lego. So I think we'll both be kind of confident to take 6 points elsewhere. So I
Mhm.
mean, I don't know. It's kind of weird. Like they seem awful at Sunshine, and at least in preseason, Viaduct wasn't a strong map of ours, and it's, you know, the map they won in the final last season. So I mean, on paper, it's kind of like one map each would probably be the expected result. But I mean, it could really go either way. 6-0 to one team, 6-0 to another, or 3-3.
So, like, the last time you guys played Sunshine in that cup, it was a 5-0.
Yeah.
But Viaduct, are we going to see a snipe fest on Viaduct? Has your boy Walter's been whipping out the scope? We were
He
sort
can.
of surprised to see, like, in some of the, Gentleman John stats pre-game, Walters hasn't actually sniped that many maps. Is
No,
that
but
a team decision, or is it just he's not feeling it?
I always say to Wallace he can snipe whenever he wants. I'll give him some specific situations where I don't want a sniper, but mostly it's completely up to him to make the decision if he wants to snipe or not. I think in general, I mean, apart from 2 or 3 maps this season, we've been in a kind of a situation where we were just, confident in the cookie cutter lineup against like the opponents we were playing. We didn't really want to turn it into sniper duels or whatever because it just slows everything down. Like normally there's momentum we can work on, so it's just like not the right time to drag out the sniper. But I mean, it's in the arsenal if the game needs it. It depends how the game goes though.
I think
So,
BK know about a sniper as well, though.
Whoa, where are you, CommanderX? Your window's talking to me.
I'm not allowed to smoke on stream, am I?
Oh, right. Sorry, continue. You think BK
Yeah,
are better without a sniper?
Yeah, I think they're better without a sniper. So I imagine both teams are just going to end up playing like cookie cutter for most of it. But yeah, I agree with kaidus. I think it's going to go like 3-3.
Permzilla or SonnyBlack?
Oh.
Care to, throw in your 2 cents? Are you guys allowed to have an opinion, or are you impartial all the time?
About what game?
For fuck's sake, man. Reason against BK, the big game this week. Who's your money on? You're gonna put your skins on, man.
Sunshine Viaduct. Yeah, as it said, I don't know. Can go either way.
Gonna have to get you on the show more often, Sonny. Sorry, Permzilla.
I said
Just
I
talking
haven't
over
followed
everyone.
him at all, so I have no fucking idea. Like, I literally have not been following any games at all.
I've seen the
But
games,
I'll
but
just-
I
I'll just go-
honestly don't know what sideshow, Sunshine.
You don't know the names of the maps, man. What the fuck? Okay. I'm gonna throw my lot in with Reason. Walter is all the way. I'm backing you guys to take it. Not sure who's gonna be casting it, but I'll fight for that one. The other game then that week is gonna be. Don't feel me now. Thank you. So there was a PCW result there at some point during the week, right? Where Lethal Weapon beats Swav, and it was blamed on the conch, the conqueror.
It was when Suave used Lava, I think, instead of Merlin. So I don't know how accurate that actually is, really.
He was good enough to beat BK though. Marvel, I mean, like kaidus.
Yeah.
Have you experienced the Lethal Weapon conch plays?
Yeah, we played them once or twice when they did it. I think we actually dropped one map to them. We dropped Snakewater when they were doing it, but I mean, I don't really think we didn't really lose because of the conch. We were kind of playing shitty. We weren't winning like mids like we normally do. I don't know about the conch. It seems like one of those things. It's got like a lifespan on it. It'll work for a little
People
while.
will figure it out.
Yeah, it'll it'll catch people out for a bit, but I mean, eventually, when you know they're doing it, you can just read they're doing it. Like they have a pocket with 3 rockets, no 3 rockets and no shotgun. So you're just gonna like take it to them in team fights. Like start of every round, you're just gonna blitz them. Essentially, like there's not a whole lot you can do when you're missing that much. Like if teams are just like you don't even have to play as well as them on a mid, and you're gonna win the mid, and you kill the pocket, and then they can try and reload contra and last or whatever. I don't know. It seems like it's pretty easy to read. I think it takes a couple of games really just to kind of get the rhythm in your head.
Just to clarify for anyone who hasn't seen this in action, currently Shadowburn is playing pocket for Lethal Weapon, but he's running the black box and the conch at the same time. It sort of makes him pretty tough to kill, but I was trying to theory craft this out with Crizzle on the YouTube comments to the Lego Lethal Weapon game, but I don't think I've come up with some definitive solution. But like he's just really annoying to play against, it seems. He's very hard to kill, he takes a lot of damage, and then obviously you got 5 other players there. But then the development after that, the next week, apparently they've started running double conch, so both their soldiers run the conch. So you're just constantly under this threat of being conked, or conqueror as it's supposed to be pronounced. But I'm looking forward to seeing them playing against Suave if they decide to go with that. Seems to be what they're running in practice, so yeah, this is going to be interesting, I think, just for that reason alone. But
I think the idea is they stack Victor with them as well. So like they just put their 2 best players with their medic, with all the heals, and it works. Well, it works better than it did previously, like number of past results. But no, I guess it's pretty easy to focus down, just because you put all your best players in one place. A bit one-dimensional.
But is it though? Like, is the conch OP? People are starting to complain a little bit. They're getting frustrated, but is that just because they haven't seen it in action enough?
I don't think it's OP at all, really.
I think it's just different. You know what I mean? Like because like if Shadowburner's like blown the conch, he's got the medi gun on him, so he's got the 2 health regen. He's got the like vampire health back from hitting rockets. Plus he's got the 15 health from hitting the black box anyway. He can gain back like 100 health in a couple of seconds, pretty quick. So it's just like you just have to get used to it. You know what I mean? Like you have to get used to the fact that you can't shoot him like one person. You can't just take him in a one-on-one because he'll have too much health too quickly. You have to focus him down.
But you just
Obviously, like I mean, it's been played in ESEA for longer than we've had it, and they're not running it. Does that mean it's no good, or not no good, but in the long term, it's not the optimal way to play?
it's not the optimal way to play. Like it's something you could bring out. You can bring it out for certain situations, but I don't really understand. Like when I watch them play, I can't. Who the hell were they playing? Was it eShock they were playing? When I watch them play, I just don't feel like they're using it to its full effect anyway. Like in practice games, it worked a little bit better, but I mean, I see them all the time do these weird Uber like they'll trade Uber and blow the conch at the same time.
That's fucking dumb.
Yeah, right. It's really stupid because it's like, okay, we're just going to be invincible while your conch wears out, and then you'll come back in with nothing. Like you can Uber and then repush with conch or something, sure, but I don't know. I think it's something that like has its use, but I don't really. I think it's really kind of. I don't know the word. It's really lazy, shall we say, to run it full time. Like, if a team was keeping track of the game better, like if a pocket soldier was reading the game a bit more, like as a long-term thing, then you could crack it out in certain situations and find real effect from it. But I think to run it all game is just like it's just lazy. It means you can't be bothered to read the game. You can't be bothered to, monitor what's going on and decide the right times to use it and when to not. I think if someone did that, it could be more effective than it is for our lethal weapon at the moment. And for now, it's just kind of working because people aren't used to it. But I think, like I say, it has a lifespan.
So to summarize these 3 big games, I guess, then you've got C-Play versus Lego, where Lego are sort of on this upward trajectory, potentially going to cause a little upset there. You've got the big game, Reason against BK, second place, third, fighting for playoff points, valuable points. Well, maybe depending on how AGP perform. And then you've got, I guess, the conch threat, this sort of emerging playstyle from Shadowburn, where he's running conch and black box on pocket. How's that going to fare against Suave? Especially as well, like something we didn't necessarily mention is that Forsaken, playing as Vic, has been had some prolific moments on Sniper in the pre-season and even throughout the season at certain points, and Viaduct is one of the maps. Like Sam versus Forsaken, who's going to win that Sniper duel?
It's not going to matter. Lethal Weapon are absolutely horrible at Viaduct. Like, I don't know, we played them a lot on Viaduct last week, 2 or 3 times, and they were really, really poor on it. I can't even remember how they were playing it. I just remember it being really, really like boring games. I don't think it's going to come down to snipers. I don't get the impression they knew how to incorporate it properly.
I think you could be right. Last topic then that I've got down here, we had a plan, I swear, was then just looking at the tables right now, theory crafting who is going to make it into the playoffs, but it seems like, Suave have already done everything they need to do to make it in there. Reason and BK currently tied. They're going to play each other this week, so like if you guys were to get a draw, you would both have 25 points, so AGP would need to pull out a big result against Suave, get 5 points or more. Are you tempted to just throw a little bit there, tie the game up, Jason?
Why would that benefit us?
Because you would both be making it into the playoffs. Guaranteed, AGP couldn't catch you, right?
What,
Assuming you're going to win your other game, you'd get 3 points each, you'd have 25.
But they're on 20,
And
they could overtake us, couldn't they, with 6?
Yes, but they'd have to get 6 from Suave. Like, you've got an easier game coming up in week 7. Let me just double check. You're going to be playing Lego, and BK are going to be playing Lethal Weapon. So, you know, all things being fair, you would assume that both teams would get 6 points in those last games, whereas AGP have to play Suave and eShock even this week, which isn't necessarily a sure thing. You could be tactical, is what I'm saying. You could just try and divvy up the points here in the big game and assume that Suave will do enough to keep AGP out.
We could, but I mean, we could just go for 6 and then not have to worry.
Oh yeah, obviously if you win, you can go straight through.
Like, Suave at the top of the table, sure, but I'm not convinced by them yet. I mean, they beat us and they beat BK, but I mean, we underperformed that night, and the BK match was on kind of really, really weird maps. I mean, Sunshine, BK really seemed to struggle on Sunshine, at least from what I've seen. And I think they kind of threw Snake. Like, they had a last push right on Snake Golden Cap, and they threw that one, in my opinion. They should have definitely have won Snake. So I don't think Suave are that unstoppable, though we can rely on them taking 6 points from AGP, so we're just going to have to do our best, really. Going to be no shrewd tactics.
Maybe then, like a draw wouldn't be a bad result. That's my only point I can concede then. Or can you concede that?
It would be okay. Like, we'd feel pretty safe, but I mean, it's much better to keep it in your own hands and not have to rely on people. I mean, I'll forget it at some point, but I haven't forgotten last season and we're going to throw debacle that went on for weeks and the trolling. Even if they would never do that, I mean, I don't think that team last season would really have done it for real. But I think with players like,
right?
I don't know who it was, but I think with players like Nox and Mike and Numlocked all there, like, you know, they're really like famous, legendary kind of players. I think they do more damage to themselves than they would us if they were to even consider something like that. So like, but yeah, I mean, anything can happen though in this game, so it's always better to keep it on your own terms.
CommanderX, then, looking at the tables, who do you think are the search to make it into the playoffs? Who do you think the contest is really between?
I think it's going to finish the same 3, like it is now, like Reason, BK, and Suave. I think the AGP Suave game will be really interesting, but I think by that time it might already be out of their hands. Because they need, like, I don't know, they need either Reason or BK to really take 6 points, like one way or the other off each other. If that doesn't happen, I think AGP are staying in 4th. But I don't think that's going to happen.
guess the best result for AGP would be BK to necessarily matter, but like BK beat them 6-0, so if Reason could, you know, reciprocate or do the same, that might even things up a little bit.
I think
I definitely feel like
6 points, and then BK have to play Lethal Weapon on the last game of the season. I reckon that's more likely to have an upset than the Lego Reason game.
True.
I think that could be an interesting one. Lethal Weapon and BK will be quite interesting.
Yeah, I think every game has been, CX says, like all the games seem to have had some value to them. And yeah, I feel like definitely Suave, Reason seem like the two more sure bets there at the top. I could see an upset with BK and AGP, but it would be really, seems like it's BK's playoff spot to lose right now. Like, they need to really fuck up in the last 3 weeks, or in these last 2 weeks. I'm just gonna refresh the fundraiser one more time. You know, Permzilla and SonnyBlack, you've been sitting there in silence. I assume you're furiously typing away at each other in Steam chat, talking about how you're going to change up the playoffs. You know, how we've really opened your eyes to the possibilities. You want to make any comment there? Are we going to see more than 4 teams playoff in the high tier? Sorry. Stop
it's not
thinking about
downgrade.
it.
Not down to me.
Cogs are still turning. Oh, all right then.
I think-
Let's role play. Imagine you were the head admin Permzilla. You know, it might be tough for you, but what would you do in this situation? How many teams would you put through in the playoffs?
I'd keep it as 4.
God, you fucking dick.
Potentially 6. Potentially 6 if enough people
Six?
would try it, but 4.
The
Six
six
doesn't
was
make any
stupid.
sense.
All the answers. Like,
6, no,
That's the
I
reason
said
why
earlier,
he's
you can
not head
do,
admin
32
anymore.
makes
You
more
can-
sense than 6.
you
I'm
can
gonna
do
put a
6
link in
with
chat.
giving 1 and 2 as a buy. You give 1 and 2 in a buy, and then you have 3 play 6, 4 play 5, and the winner of 3 and 6 plays 2, and the winner of 4 and 5 plays 1.
Somebody
That's how it
proposed
works
that
for
as
six.
well. Sorry if I didn't give credit to whoever it was, but there is an image there in Twitch chat where there's basically saying the same thing as you, Permzilla, but with an extra buy there. So it's like 5th plays 7th, that plays 3rd, 6th plays 8th, the winner plays 4th, and you've got these 2 sort of brackets going up. Like imagine we had 2 Prem playoffs, something like that, and the winners meet
I
in the
said
end.
earlier that idea. Well, not about the idea. The positions are in the wrong order. Like 3rd and 1st should be swapped to 4th and 2nd. Otherwise, it's not fair because the lower and 4th are playing easier teams than 3rd and 1st, which doesn't make any sense. But if that was swapped, then I guess that would do okay.
That's confirmation then. 8 teams in the high tier playoff. You heard it here first, guys. And how
Yeah.
much money did you say, Sonny? What was your rough estimation for how much the high division would get from the prize pool or from the fundraiser money? What are these kids going to be fighting for?
25,
Ballpark.
30% around that. So
Quarter of
uh,
4,000 euros.
like 700, 800 total prize pool, maybe. Not confirmed.
Okay, it's going to be interesting. I want to mention as well, actually, because it did come up there, but it's obviously been a big thing for the community. It's really excited, and that's Frack's ELO rankings. That it what came out from his PCW results of the week is now a sort of unofficial ranking of the teams in Europe, and there's been not necessarily an anomaly, but Sideshow's team, they renamed themselves in honor of it to ELO Girl, have been, consistently outperforming at least 4 other teams in the Prem. Like, should they have been placed in Prem, kaidus?
I think they should have been in the playoffs for Prem. I don't know, like, if they should have been placed there, but I mean, I think, didn't they signed up for it? Like, they didn't realize kind of how the state of the competition was and thought that team was more suited to high. I think Sideshow said if he realized kind of how the teams were stacking up, he would have gone for Prem.
The team when they signed up was quite different, wasn't it? Like I seem to remember they didn't pick up like Spari and Evokia and people until sort of divisions were out or playoffs were being done at least. That's what I seem to remember. Like when we were doing divs, wasn't it? Sort of a Sideshow style sort of troll team. That's what I seem to remember.
Yeah. Something to keep in mind as well with this ELO is like Sideshow's team, they do play like the better Prem teams, but I mean, there's kind of like a distinction between like a Prem team and a high team. So it's like as a Prem team or like a top half of Prem team, when I look for PCWs, I'm going for everyone in Prem first. Even if that means, playing sort of like C play Lego, I'll always ask them kind of before I start asking the top high teams. So it means kind of C player getting all these kind of PCW requests from us, Suave, well, maybe not Suave, they barely play like AGP and stuff. So a lot of the lower Prem teams are kind of getting rolled on a regular basis by the top half teams, which is kind of hurting their ELO. Whereas I think ELO Go are kind of, they're playing Prem teams as well, but they're also getting like a lot of, kind of cheaper wins and slowly building it up. Occasionally stealing like a big win, but it doesn't really hurt them that much when they lose. I think it's worth factoring in just kind of the way that happens. Not saying that they're not better than half of Prem still, but I think that ELO can get a bit kind of morphed by that.
Frack says there in Twitch chat that Lego are more wrongly rated than ELO Girl. That's interesting as well, because Lego have been down like 12th. They're currently 14th, I'm looking at here. So, that's like way outside of the top 8. They should be the Premiership teams. But obviously, they actually won their way into the Prem. Like, they weren't just placed there on a sort of free thing from last season or whatever. They qualified with Helberg going absolute bunkers against TC. They ended up folding anyway, TC. But, like, I guess I can't fault it. I'm always demanding playoffs for Prem when Lego went in and played. I wish Frag was here actually, but does the fact that Lego, as you say, Kaidus, don't really play so much against you guys or maybe a lot of the top Prem teams, does that affect the way they're ranked as well? Does anyone know? Please tell us in Twitch chat, Frag. But I'll take this opportunity then, whilst we wait for a reaction, to promote once again the ETF2L Season 20 fundraiser. It is closing apparently in 8 hours, but SonnyBlack says it could be open until the grand finals. Wink. You should keep doing it there, you know. There's going to be more money for Sideshow whenever he stumps his way through the high division. And I'll make that Reason versus Suave grand final really interesting. The more money you throw in there, it says it doesn't matter because he's a keen gamer anyway. He was given 100% every season, but I think it might help a little bit. And think about that third place open team getting €3, you know, that could be you. Could be you guys making that difference. Oh, Frank says he wasn't listening. Fuck this shit then. I want to talk about LAN. Anyone planning to attend Gamers Assembly or Info Show? I believe BK were really thinking about going to Gamers Assembly with the full team, but it didn't work out exactly. But now Zebasai's making a mix. Is that confirmed? Am I just making it up?
I saw someone, I guess it's the guy that's organising Games Assembly, that they've got like 6 computers for BK. But I don't know
Twiggy.
if it's still BK. Yeah, Twiggy, yeah. I don't know if it's still BK or if it's just a mix now, but I think like they're sorting out like hotels and stuff, aren't they? It's definitely happening, isn't it?
Yeah. You're going to Info Show, right, Permzilla?
Yeah, AOL will be Info Show.
What's the date on that one? I wish I'd done some preparation.
The 20th of April, I think. Just checking the day of the week. I know it's actually, I don't know what days the tournament's on, but it's the weekend of the 18th and the 19th of April. But I don't know what days we're actually playing TF2.
Yeah, I think you're right. It's like the first week of April, the first weekend is Gamers Assembly. Then a fortnight after that, it's Info Show in Lithuania. My interest in these lands just dropped off since I decided to bail, or to dodge. But there's definitely a lot of people going to those. We can definitely come up with another fully charged episode before them. I'll have to do one before the playoffs as well to maximize the hype. But shout out to those people who did continue to donate to the fundraiser tonight. That's what we were hoping for. The darn shirt, you know, I'll put it on camera again whilst everyone gives their shout outs and we wrap things up, unless anybody's got any more hot topics. Nobody? You're just looking at me waving a shirt. This isn't awkward at all. Come on.
I could rant about admin stuff more if you want.
Go ahead, what's on your mind?
Can you change the map rotation for next season? I don't mean the specific maps, but I mean the fact that all the good maps happen in about 3 weeks, and then you're left with all the shit maps for the rest of the season. It's really, really unbalanced.
Yeah, what's
Clarify
considered a
shit
good
and
map?
good.
Well, okay, I'm going to pretend you didn't play the game before and tell you Badlands, Gullywash, and Process are considered the good maps, and everything else is considered the not so good maps. But for some reason, we play Badlands, Gullywash, and Process in the first 3 weeks, and then we play Logjam, Snakewater, Sunshine, and Viaduct. And whether they're popular or not is beside the point. The fact they're all new, or like they're the more complicated maps to play. Like Viaduct is not one people enjoy in pickups. Logjam and Sunshine are both relatively new. Snakewater is like the least popular of the so-called popular maps, and they're all like in a block together. So it's kind of like, I don't know, for my taste, the first half of this season was really like, you know, really free-flowing and everyone was kind of there, and now it's just kind of trailed off, and it's kind of like, it's still fun, but it's just a bit more of like a grind, you know, like you're grinding Sunshine, having just done Snakewater and Logjam. It just feels a little bit unbalanced. I was going to make a post at some point, but I don't like typing because I'm a cripple, so I just say it here.
It's like we're always trying to put the the maps in consecutive weeks. So if you're playing Process, you will play Process in the next week as well.
I get that. I like that because
that's
Oh,
not
the
what
new
you're
maps
saying.
later as well, so teams have more time to practice.
yeah,
Like
I
we
understand
put
that.
new maps in like week 5 or something. Like I think in week 5 and 6. So
I get that, but it just seems a little bit because there's kind of, as well as Viaduct, there's two relatively controversial maps, or like new/controversial in Sunshine and Logjam. It's kind of a situation we don't normally see. Normally there's like, okay, you have Viaduct, then you have one other map, but this time there's two other maps, and it just seems a bit stacked up. I don't know, like maybe
I've
I'd
got
be-
something to say. Like, do you not think having like Badlands and Process and Gully at the beginning of the season is a good thing for like new teams? That
yeah,
haven't had much
totally.
practice on these new
For the first 2
maps?
weeks maybe, like for the first 2 weeks it's cool, but then literally all the fun maps are gone. Like the most fun maps are all gone within 3 weeks of the season. You have one
But
one
that's like
Badlands at the end.
if you do have like good maps for a couple of weeks, like maps are only played twice, so like a couple of weeks, like say the first 2 weeks are good maps like they are currently, then that's the good maps all gone. In your opinion, like that's all the good maps gone. So there's not really an alternative to that.
Well, there is.
Unless
Like
you
you
want,
could
unless
just
you want to, unless you want to
like,
play like Sunshine or Logjam in week 1 or 2,
well,
which doesn't really make any sense.
it seems like a bit of an exaggeration. Like the kind of thing I'm suggesting is, just why do we start? We started off with Badlands and Process, then we did Process and Gully. So why don't we start off with like Badlands and Process, then do Process and say Logjam or something, and you throw Gully Wash a bit later. You literally switch one map with one map. It was just a little suggestion. It didn't have to be. I'm not accusing the admins of blowing dick again. Just a little suggestion, something I noticed playing the season.
But you play 4 maps every official, when you'd play more maps.
It's just, I don't know, I still enjoy playing it and everything, but it just felt like a bit of a kind of a drag lately. Like every single map we've played has been kind of unfamiliar. Like Snake Water's not so bad, but I mean, it just seems like it's really like top heavy or tail heavy or whatever. All the maps that are a bit of a slog is kind of at the end of the season, like Sunshine, Logjam, Viaduct, with only Snake Water to break them up. I'd just like to see a little bit more like, a bit more like balance to the pacing. I feel like it could just be, tweaked a little bit. I'm not asking for some massive map revolution. I just feel like it could be tweaked. Just feedback. I'm sorry.
I think this is something or like on a tangent here. Permzilla has left the admin staff, SonnyBlack. Who's going to replace him? Is it going to be kaidus? CommanderX already ruled himself out.
nobody's gonna replace him. Just
No
have
one
to
can
get rid
replace
Have
of
you had
him.
many
Slash.
applications for new staff? Do you want to make an appeal here to your
No.
community? Do you need more applications?
Don't need more head admins.
Well, for
We need
news
less
writer,
head
PR guy,
admins.
whatever other positions you need to fill.
We had a post for new admins and we got like 20, maybe 30 applications, which we're reviewing now, like 4 newswriters or something. So we will take like 2 in and probably like 2 Highlander admins and 1 League, 1 6v6 admin.
How many were Sideshow? Or olds of Sideshow?
None.
That you know of.
For the criteria, like no backbone, doesn't question authority.
Yeah, you have
Standard.
to be German first of all, and then you get in.
Okay.
Like most of the people, like I really put some effort into explaining what we expect from admins instead of that generic like what's your name, what you want to do, how much time do you have, but people keep using that, like instead of writing actually why they want to be an admin and how they can help and what motivation they have or what other skills they might have. They are just like, I'm available from till, and yeah, so those, like we've got plenty of those, and we got some different ones which are actually text, not a filled out sheet.
Were you
So those-
surprised, Sonny, by the number of applicants? You say you had 30 applications. That seems big to me.
It was more than what we usually get, but we looked for basically every position. So
Do you
little bit
think
surprised,
that
maybe?
ETF2L, at least like the public opinion, is pretty high at the minute based on the fundraiser, the Swiss system? There's been a lot of positive changes. does anyone think, or is it just me that thinks this, that, you know, ETF2L seems like a cause worth supporting with your time these days? And now Permzilla, the guy who made it so likable, has left.
And now that Perm is finally gone, everyone likes ETF2L.
Well, he's gonna take all the blame now, though, Sonny. That's the thing, isn't it?
I used to take the blame before you were there.
Yeah, but not used to it. It's gonna start again.
Why is fully charged turned into like an admin domestic now?
People
Only
want
way
a
we can get
drama.
these guys to say something interesting, man, and pit them against each other. One thing we have to mention actually is that Uberchain put
we
together
cut
this.
John after this fucking
graphic.
podcast.
I'll spam it in tweets there, but she mashed up the Ricky Gervais show with the fully charged graphic. Apparently I'm Ricky Gervais with no hair. Don't see the resemblance whatsoever. But I think Sideshow is Carl Pilkington and Kaidus is supposed to be Steve Merchant. Go enjoy that, guys. Didn't see it on
I thought
Twitter.
that Carl Pilkington was actually a perfect like blend of Sideshow and CommanderX. I thought it like captured both of them perfectly. Maybe he just put a little beard on Carl. It would be like the perfect blend of both of them.
Oh, somebody make that update. Put CX's beard onto Carl Pilkington there. Having. I feel like I look like Tato. Right, anyone from Northern Ireland knows who that is. But yeah, let's wrap it up. Yeah, thanks for tuning in to Team Fortress TV. This has been Admirable. We've had CommanderX. No.
Hold on, my phone's ringing.
Ah,
Well, sorry guys.
we've had Kaidus
Yeah.
join
Bye,
on the
or
camera
something.
and on the mic. SonnyBlack, Permzilla. Give some shout outs there, you know, send some love.
Shout out to Sam and Ibs and everyone who donated.
Shout out to Ashcan and Camfo/TT.
Yeah, shout out to Ibs. He appeared. Apparently, it was the real Ibs on some recent Twitch chat. Confirm that, SonnyBlack is still alive.
Yeah, he is. I talked to him over the phone like a week ago. Or 2 weeks ago now. It's more like 2 weeks ago.
Did you get the FBI to trace it?
No.
Hope you're doing good, Felix. CX and Kaidus, your shout outs, please.
Shout out to Reason Gaming and shout out to that's it actually.
I'm good. I've got nothing.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Go on, you may shout out. As long as it's not
Shout out
Highlander
to
related.
Piplop from Team Colon Slash. There you go, Pip. Now you can shut up.
Shout out to all the Russian people who keep pointing out I look like weird Russian things. Russian poets or like Russian like childhood cartoons.
Yep, go to the fundraiser. 3,300 euros already donated, but we can get more. We demand more. We don't really have any great rationale for it, but just give us your money. Highlander Season 8 is sign-ups just opened. You know, support Highlander. It's awesome. There's going to be Joanne in September. That's it for tonight. Thanks to everyone involved. Thanks to everyone who tuned in and watched. There's going to be very few games this week until Thursday when there'll be 3 at once. So get fucking hyped for that.
If you
Peace out.
donate enough, we'll cancel Season 8 for Highlander.
Good idea.
That'll be the final perk.
No.
I think it'd be
Someone
fun to
compute
see
this.
how many people would donate to cancel Highlander.
Yeah, we could just have like a war, like whoever donates more.
Do you
Like
remember?
Highlander donates more, you get the season.
Do you remember the TF2 update when it was soldiers against demo men and everyone tried really hard to get them like their class now unlock? It's sixes versus Highlander. Both you donate for whatever you want, Highlander or 6v6, and whichever has the most donators or the most money pledged gets the whole prize pot. Or
Yeah.
the season just gets cancelled.
Yeah. Are there more Highlander players than Sixes players? Are we still on air, by the way? Confirm.
Well, I think that there was like 120 signups for Highlander last season. I think times that by 9, that's like just over 1,000. So no.
All right then, we'll take this bet. Put your money where your mouth is, Highlander. I like those odds. HL are so eager to prove themselves, though. You know, this might backfire. Another great idea there, SonnyBlack and Permzilla. You know, I know you've got your notepad and pen there. You're gonna write all this shit down and go and change ETF2L again for the better. But yeah, that's it for real this time. Good night.